Hello, and welcome to this edition of the One-on-One Sports Webcast. I'm Stephen Normington.
And I'm Natalie Beach. We have a great show for you today, so let's kick things off with the starting four.
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish are going to be in the national championship game after beating USC. The question remains, who will they play and what will the matchup be this weekend? Natalie, who do you think is going to play in this game?
I think it's got to be Alabama. It's pretty clear it's going to be the winner of Alabama-Georgia for SEC. I think Alabama is still riding the momentum of being last year's national champion, and I think they're going to take that into a defending of their title against Notre Dame.
Okay, Alabama's a great team. I just don't want them there. I'm sick of the whole Nick Saban thing. The past 2 out of 3 years, that's the primary reason I'm going to say that Georgia's going to win. Murray has been spectacular this month. 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I know he has struggled against high-quality teams, but he's going to turn it around. He has one of the best deep balls in football, and I see the Georgia Bulldogs defense getting them through this game.
See, I don't think so. I think Alabama's quarterback has only thrown 2 interceptions, and that was in that freak game against Texas A&M. Alabama is not going to lose twice. That was like a pure miracle of a game
against this Georgia Bulldogs defense, though. I think anything can happen.
The only thing they have going for them is the fact that they're at home, but Alabama fans are so devoted. I think there's going to be enough of them there that Alabama can
you realize the game is in Atlanta. You realize that,
yes,
okay?
I know, and I'm saying that's the Bulldogs' biggest advantage is that they have home field. It's in their stadium, but I think enough Alabama fans are going to be there that won't even be a factor. And Alabama, annoying as it may be, is just going to continue their dominance.
Okay, well, I guess I'll have to be angry for another year then.
Tampa Bay Rays third baseman Evan Longoria recently signed a $100 million extension with the team that will bring him through the 2020 season. Steve, do you think this was a good move or a bad move for Tampa Bay?
I'm going to say a bad move. 2023. Just imagine what the world's going to be like then. There might be like flying cars, who knows. But anyways, this guy has been injury plagued. He played half of last season. Longoria just he's been playing well. He's putting up great numbers, but he just has been constantly injured throughout his career.
Well, that's the thing. When he plays well. And Tampa Bay is in the AL East, who's arguably the strongest division in baseball right now, especially with the recent moves by the Toronto Blue Jays. So they know that they need to do something to remain contenders. And Evan Longoria gives the team a franchise player, someone to rally around, someone for the fans to like have their jersey for 10 years, you know, some consistency.
I understand that the Rays need that, but he wanted to come back. He really wanted to be at Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
He loves Tampa Bay, but $100 million is so much money to pay for a guy that's constantly injured. I just do not like that.
See, I think that the idea of having him around and giving the fans who are in Tampa Bay, like fan attendance, is not something that is a strong point for them. I think that they need that consistency. He really loves the Rays, and I think that that's going to feed on the other players and his leadership. He can be almost like a Chipper Jones.
Okay, all that's cute, but you're not going to pay that much money for a guy with no legs.
But he's so good at third base. I don't think he'll be injured that long.
The Houston Texans quarterback, Matt Schaub, said the Detroit Lions defensive tackle, Ndamukong Suh, would never fit in with the Texans because they don't want those types of players on their team. Natalie, is this fair or foul?
I think it's kind of foul. I mean, obviously Schaub can say whatever he wants, but I kind of felt like it was a little bit too petty. I mean, the Texans aren't even looking for a defensive tackle. It seems so unlikely that would even happen. He kind of comes across as like whining because he kicked him on Thanksgiving.
That is extremely unlikely considering he just signed a huge contract extension in early August. But besides the fact, his point was that we just do not like this guy. He gave me a cheap shot. He's one of the most dirty players in the NFL, and he's saying that his style of play just does not fit in with the Texans because they're a respected league.
They're very strict about their player conduct. But I think that it just kind of like brings this back to the whole idea of should athletes be on Twitter saying all of these things about their opinions on other players, and so his sister got involved with it, saying, I don't want him in Detroit anymore, and it just became such a huge mess, and it just takes away so much attention from the actual game.
It was kind of ridiculous for such a little thing.
I think it's been just completely overblown. I don't think it's as important as everyone is making it out to be. Detroit Lions head coach Jim Schwartz mistakenly threw a challenge flag on a scoring play that would have been reviewed by officials anyway. Because the flag was thrown, the play was not reviewed, resulting in a Texans touchdown. The question is, does the NFL need to get rid of this rule? What do you think,
it was clear that Justin Forsett, his elbow and knee were clearly down, and the players were even walking back to the huddle. That's just ridiculous. I don't understand how you miss something like that. Even if the rule does state that once touchdowns are automatically reviewed, so there's no need for the challenge flag. It's just kind of a stupid rule. But at the same time, Jim Schwartz needs to realize that that is a rule, and that's just a terrible.
But it's Thanksgiving. This is a huge game to keep the Lions in any kind of contention for anything. Like, it's a huge national audience, which is part of why this looks so bad for the league, because everyone is watching this Thanksgiving game. I think there's just too many negative implications with this rule, because it could easily go the other way, where a team could score a touchdown that was clearly not true.
It's such an easy rule to follow, though.
The other coach could throw the flag, the play wouldn't be reviewed, the touchdown would work anyway. You know, you could strategically use it in a very
They obviously need to change the rule.
What if this happens in the playoffs? You know, like, league officials are saying, oh, we're not going to talk about it until after the season ends. But if this happens in, like, the playoffs, the Super Bowl, it's going to be a major catastrophe.
Well, we can both agree that they obviously need to change the rule.
Yes,
all I am saying is that Jim Schwartz should have known, or someone at least should have told him that something was wrong with this challenge.
I also think that the penalty, like, on top of not reviewing it, was just too much. I think one or the other, you know, like, if, like, the fact that he had the penalty on the play in addition to not reviewing the touchdown, it was just, like, in front of everyone, it just made it look.
It was obviously a bad day for NFL officiating.
It really was. It was like replacement.
Time for us to take our first break, but when we sit down, I will return with our college sports experts.